Hi fellas, nice back here again. Back with another review, but this one's slightly different. As you can see probably down here, we're going to have a quick book review. Okay, now I've got the full set of this Encyclopaedia of Aircraft by Diego Quangiano. Okay, from I think it was it MiG, yeah, MiG Ammo. Now I don't use these as a Bible. Okay, these are more for ideas and how to do certain bits and pieces, but they are there as a useful guide to anybody either taking up modelling or doing modelling, you know, doing modelling a while. So what we're going to do, we're going to spend about 5 minutes looking through each individual one and how they are set out, because I don't think I've seen anybody do a full set before, so it'd be good to see from the start all the way through the finish. Okay, so there's 5 books, be about 5 minutes each, so it might be longer than 5 minutes, so it might turn out to be a longish review. Okay, if that's not for you, please, by all means, that's fair enough. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll switch her over to the overhead and we'll have a look at these in more detail. So to start off, there are 5. Okay, so we'll start off with the first one, modelling techniques, and when we've got cockpits, number 1. Interiors and assembly is number 2. Number 3 is painting. Number 4 is weathering, and number 5 is the final steps. Okay, so we'll start off with number 1. Okay, so these were all bought for me for birthday and Christmas presents off my wife and my kids. So I have learned a lot from these, but like I said before, these are used more for a guide. So we're going to have a look at each one. So the first one, we've got cockpits. Okay, and it's made of really nice material. Okay, so first off, you come for it, you've got your tools and preparation of parts, and then it moves on to your cockpits with some nice drawings, photos. Okay, a bit of a spiel, okay, by the author, and then we move straight on to tools and preparation of parts. So this is taking somebody that's not done any sort of modelling. You have to bear with the lights, I'll try and get it out of the way when we start looking at it. This is somebody that's not done any modelling, so they can pick up this book and they can have a look at the different materials and tools, separating parts from sprue and removing injection marks. Okay, so if we open it up, we've got a layout are all the basic tools. Okay, obviously some I've got more of this, some I've got less. I started off with a lot less than these. Okay, moving on to different types of putties, glues, auxiliary products, masking materials, building and detailing materials, so your scratch building, moulding and casting, so your resins and all that sort of stuff, your brushes, airbrushes and compressors, and all that good stuff. You know, it gives you a little guide, let's say. Then you've got your other materials like your cutting mat, your Dremel, sanding, so bending parts, and optivisors. Okay, and then the second part, we move on to paints and thinners, so the different types of lacquers and acrylic lacquers, and then we move on to your enamels, your alkali metallic paints, and then your acrylic paints like your Vallejo, your MIGs. Okay, and then different types of varnishes and where to use them and what have you. Colouring pencils and markers. Now I use a lot of colouring pencils, I use a lot of different types of gel pens in my arsenal. Okay, and then you've got your they talk about weathering products, so you've got your panel line wash, your washers, okay, your streaking effects and your nature effects. So this goes on, and then it, you know, filters, pigments and all sort of stuff, a bit about reference. All right, and then we look at actually starting the build. So 1.2, okay, is cutting the actual part of the sprue, the best way to do it, the best tools, whether to do it with side cutters, with knives, okay, and then how to clean up that part with knives, scraping, files, sandpaper, however you shall wish. It talks about it. And underneath each picture, okay, there is a paragraph on what they're doing. All right. Then we move on to removing injection marks. Okay, so as you can see, all right, someone like Tamiya or Airfix sometimes put these injection marks in a kit, and they're quite difficult to get rid of. So this shows you how to get rid of these parts. Okay, starting with just scraping, to then looking at filling with putty, or even as with CA or anything like that. Okay, and there you can see them sanding them down and all that sort of stuff. Even onto covering them up with plasticard, okay, or holes or whatever you need to cover up with plasticard if it's too big or anything like that. All right. Then we move on to cockpits. Okay, and then we've got I think that's a Hornet, an F-18 Hornet, okay, with the open canopy, and then we've got a cockpit. Now that cockpit's from a 190, I believe. Yeah, that looks like a 190 cockpit. And you see it's a German RLM 66, I believe it is the... Is it 66 or something like that? I can't actually remember. So it's the darker grey with scuff marks and all that sort of stuff. And it goes on to tell you how to deal with cockpit interiors, simple instructionals, simple seats, painting upgrades, closed cockpit, simple canopies, etc, etc, etc. So we've got cockpit interiors. That one there is a ME262 cockpit, and how we mount it actually on for painting it and all that sort of stuff. And then it goes on to how we actually paint it. Okay, so starting with just the main cockpit, and then different ways of dealing with the instrument panel. Okay, on there. Okay, some more, a simple instrument panel. So you get a simple one. Okay, so a simple one. Okay, moving on to a more advanced one. Okay, and then moving on to simple seats. So how to do a seat for a jet. Okay, that I'm not certain what that aircraft is. Okay, what that jet is. All right, moving on to doing a jet seat or a seat. Okay, how we can add contrast to it. Okay, now this is all well and good, but again, it's your choice whether you choose to do it like this or not. Again, seat belts. Okay, simple seat belts using the decals. He's repainted the decals different colours using photo etch, and how to deal with the photo etch for different seats. Moving on to resin seats. Okay, for either a jet. Okay, that's a Russian one. A basic older one, and then we've got a Japanese maybe zero seat, and then we move on to painting upgrades. All right, so as you can see, as you work your way through it, it takes you from doing it very basically, okay, to doing a little bit more involved. Okay, and as we go through masking the canopy, it talks about masking the canopy, how to solve fit problems. Okay, different types of putty. All right, and then we can move on to advanced cockpits. So look at resin, scratch built detail, advanced control panels, etc, etc, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so there really is a lot of detail in here. Okay, yes, some people prefer a lot of writing, some people prefer just pictures. At least with this, it's got a bit of writing, a bit of pictures, and it talks you through it step by step. Okay, and then we've got an actual cockpit and panel he's actually made all scratch built, which it looks really good, and that is the Hornet. Okay, making some oxygen lines, which I've done myself. Again, another one I've done myself is seat putties, putty with seat for seats. And then you've got to move on to your advanced cockpit painting. How to get the highlights, lowlights, shadows, all that sort of stuff. Using inks and pencils and putting placards on, using graphite, okay, all that sort of stuff. So some really nice pictures, some nice write-up, and as we work all the way through. So you can see a lot of these I do use in my builds. I tend to pick out instrument panels with gel pens or something like that, and then we move on to advanced control panels, you know, some photo etch ones, some ones with the acetate sheets and all that sort of stuff. So we'll go through it. All right, okay, doing a non-injection seat, so this is a 0 or something like that. And then we move on to injector seats, different types. So we've got a Russian and a British or American seat. Okay, adding actual harnesses and stuff like that on there. Okay, all the way down to World War I seats and harnesses. Okay. Making belts, the hood, the head-up display. Okay, all really nice detail. Not special like that. Okay, and then advanced canopies. So making sure they fit, how to get them all seamless. Okay, using that sort of stuff and a Q-tip. How to mask up the canopies. Something as simple as like that does baffle people because they've never come across it before, which is good. Okay, how to paint the interior colour first onto the canopy. Okay, so when you look through the actual canopy frames, you're going to see that interior colour on the inside. How to rid yourself of seams in your canopy, which one of my builds coming up will probably have to do that. How to polish it all out using Tamiya compound. Now I use something slightly different, which again you've seen me do in the past, but I'll be using it again. Okay, so some really nice information in here. Okay, all the way through, as you can see, weather strips and stuff like that, and then on to painting pilots. How to deal with pilots, how to make them a bit more interesting, putting the hose on it, for example, for the oxygen, and doing markings and the seats and all that sort of stuff. And then how to paint wooden cockpits, which is something I've not attempted as yet. Okay, and there's different ways of attempting the wooden cockpits. All right. Okay, so a lot of information in here. All right, all the way through. Getting it in now. All right, and then just at the end we get a bit of eye candy. So an F-16, a Hornet, and a Hellcat. Okay, and then also you can do the other bits in the series. So that's part 1. Moving on to part 2, it's interiors and assemblies. So now we're looking at engine bays, wheel bays, and that sort of stuff. So again, you've got how it's set all out. So we've got 3 and 4. So your first one you've got 1 and 2. Your second one you've got 3 and 4. And then again another spiel by the author, and then 3 interiors, so we're landing gears, scratch built interiors, piston engine, aircraft and jet engines. So now we're looking at all the other bits and pieces. Okay, we've done the cockpit, so now we need to have a look at the actual wheel wells and stuff like that. Okay, so just picking out some bits in the wheel wells, either doing resin or what have you. Okay, doors, making sure on some of the aircraft you get the red parts, the chips, and it's set out exactly the same as was before. Okay, but how to add this extra detail. What to use to add this extra detail. Okay, just something as simple as that for wiring on a leg. Let's have a look, see if we can see where he's done that. There we are, look. Okay, you can just see those two pictures there, hopefully, where he's added that wiring to that leg. Right, then how to paint it and weather it and all that sort of stuff. Okay, how to, you know, resin struts. Sometimes that one's bent, so he's told you how to show you how to fix that sort of stuff. Okay, metal legs. Okay, something I've not worked with, metal undercarriage legs. It's to give the aircraft a lot more strength. All right, and how to then deal with it and weather it and paint it. All right, wheels and tires. How to fix some of that lost tread detail when you get rid of the seam line. Okay. Weathering them. From modern to Second World War. Yes, it is using MIG, a lot of MIG products, but a lot of these products can be replicated by just using some oils with a little bit of lighter fluid or some pastel chalks or something like that. Okay, so it is possible to make all this sort of stuff yourself. Okay, so really going to town on some of the weathering. Okay, scratch built interior details, that's adding wires and all that sort of stuff. I have done some of this, not the panels that are open like there, but definitely adding wires and all that sort of stuff to wheel wells. Okay. Alright, so all the way through like that, and we'll just have a quick flip through. So for engines, let's have a look, see what it says for the, see if we can find, there we are, some engine detail. Some rotary engines, some V-line engines like the Merlin and that sort of stuff. Okay, that one's an old World War One engine. All right, and how to deal with them. Okay, and resin engines and all that sort of stuff, which a lot of us, okay, myself included, wouldn't know where to start. So this is giving me an idea of how to tackle those certain parts if I'm not 100% certain. Okay, so we've got a, let's have a look. We've got a P40 Warhawk, okay, and that one looks like a, yeah, another P40 or maybe, I'm not 100% certain. All right, the Firewall, Merlin engines, German engines, building and painting a fuel tank. You know, something as simple as that. All right, for fuel tanks in this Storch spotter plane, okay, the German spotter plane. Just doing something as simple as that can add a whole new lot of detail to your builds. All right, and then we move on to jet engines. You know, the nozzles. You've seen me do some of these bits and pieces on some of my nozzles, okay, and you'll see me do more in the future. All right, okay, so the is it the Foxhound, Foxbat, I think. So that's the one I'm building at the moment. So again, I can use some of these. This one's the Foxbat, so I can use these as reference of, you know, how should it look before I'm going onto the internet. Okay, and then we've got a more modern jet. You know, take on like an SU-27 or something like that. Okay, a MiG-21 engine, all that sort of stuff, even down to the older 262 engines. Yeah, how to deal with these certain things that people not always know what to do. Okay, and then scratch building a jet engine. Okay, so putting all that detail on there to then end up with something that looks like that. Okay, for the Hornet, and we just move down to there. Okay, so you can see that engine just there. Alright, then exterior assembly. So adding some other details, how actually building up your aircraft. Right, what glues to use, putties, you know, how to use different types of putty, be that your normal green putty or your Tamiya putty or your other putty, even to using CA glue, okay, and pigments and what have you. I've been known to use CA glue and talc, okay, to mix the surfacer, sanding, polishing, okay, your fuselage and all that sort of stuff, how to get that perfect finish, looking all the way through. All right, how to fix faults. All right, so not only are these for advanced modelers, for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, okay, even just something as simple as using a paintbrush end to reinstall some lost circles, okay, some lost panels or whatever, or a hypodermic needle to do the same. Okay, so there's lots in here for, you know, everybody. How to look at doing stress skin. Okay, now this is something I want to be looking at, but at the moment I'm not brave enough. Okay, you know, dealing with doing stress skin, nav lights. Okay, I have to install different types of nav lights, and then wing assemblies. You know, how to deal with any problems with wings that you come across. Okay, get the light dihedral to doing scratch building some movable surfaces. Okay, so lots and lots in here. And then we've got the detailing, so photo etch, how to bend something to make a cap, how to add detail with resin parts. All right, needles, and doing pitch tubes and gun barrels and all that sort of good stuff. Drilling out, something as simple as drilling out exhaust stubs. It adds so much detail to a said build. You know, it really does transform a build sometimes. Okay, so lots of good stuff. Even how to make resin copies. Okay, so making new parts, okay, and how to do it. And again, okay, and then masking. And then at the end we get some bit of eye candy. Okay, so that's 2. 3, again, is more of the same. I'm not going to go too much into this one, but all the different types of painting styles and pre-shading, post-shading, masking, metallizers, all that sort of stuff. So we'll just go to the first page and then we'll have a quick scan through it. So exterior painting, so you've got all your different parts there, okay, and okay, how to prepare for paint, painting wood, metallics, placing camouflage, chipping. Okay, there's even chipping, okay, in this. Lots of good stuff. Chipped winter camouflage. Alright. How to, you know, make that shade and making it stand out a bit more, like on that one there, as you can see. Okay. Again, a lot of this is open to your own interpretation of how you want to deal with your model. End of the day, it's your model, so you can do whatever you want to it. Excuse me. Okay. Patch paint and all sorts. Wood. Okay. Wood propellers. Something I've not dared to deal with. Okay. And as you can see, just a quick plywood strip skin. Alright. This is on a Sturmovik. Alright, so you've got how to paint it, how it's done, to eventually end up with something that looks like that. Yeah, so it's something I'm not quite ready to do it as yet. Okay, so you end up with that down there. Alright, and then we've got imitating wood with decals and all that sort of stuff. Then it's gone on to using insignia, numerals and stencils, so doing decals. Alright, how to deal with decals. Small decals, large decals, even to masking. So using aftermarket masking sets, so Montax and others, okay, and dotted 49. Alright, really nicely done. Shading with inks. This is something I've tried, and basically what you're going for is something like that. Now, I don't know whether that looks natural or not, okay? Quite possibly it does, it's just really time consuming. Okay, shading from different angles, so you can see just on this bit how it's shaded just the top and not on the bottom as such, and what have you. That would work quite well on the control surface are fabric. So on the early Spitfires, especially on the First World War, and then to help with stress skin. Okay, help with stress skin, so you can actually just see. I don't know. Again, does it work? I don't know. It's something I've not really practiced with. Panel line shading, which I'll be doing a bit on the Mustang when I come round to do it. Okay, picking out different types of panels and all that sort of stuff. All right, so yeah, a lot of good stuff in that one. Okay, right, so that's number 3. Number 4 is weathering. So in number 4 we get to have a look at all the different weathering. Okay, so as you can see, a big chunk of this is weathering, from preparation, chipping, filters, dirt, grime, all the way through. So for someone like me that might not understand filters properly, I can go and have a look at filters, dirt and grime, warm paint. And then if you have a look at this hind here, at the back of the book there is a how-to of how to get this effect. Okay, so again we start with the chipping. Okay, different sort of colourings, and then we've got painting scuff marks on. Okay, now somebody I know was trying to get this effect with pencils, not realising that the actual dirt marks, okay, the really bad dirt marks, are all done with an airbrush. Look, okay, I know it says flat clear, but you need to do these bits with an airbrush. If you remember my Sky Raider, I did this on the fuel tanks, and I used watercolor pencils to that. I use watercolor pencils quite a lot in my modelling. Okay, so we'll just have a look at this one. So doing the tank. Okay, moving on to then adding some scratches. Okay, the good thing about these watercolor pencils is that with water, if it's overdone or not enough, you can get rid of. Okay, doing scratches and stuff like that. All right, scratches and pits and all that sort of stuff. And rubbered off if they're too stark, you can soften them with rubber. Okay, and then some darkest pink, and again the effect is overdone. You can remove it, alright, until you end up with something like these two. Alright, and again I've used this technique, okay, can be quite effective. So then you end up with something like that. Alright, so again, okay, how to different types of weathering's done. Alright, the oil dot filter, again I've used this, I will be using it again some more in future builds, okay, for filters, outlining other surface detail, picking out marks and stuff like that, all the way through to oil stains. Okay, again a lot of this can be covered with using oils and pastels and clay washes, spill stains and all this sort of stuff. Okay, so they are really good handy books to have. Okay, and then we look at doing exhaust. I'm pretty sure there's an exhaust one in here somewhere, so we'll take a look. Okay, spill marks, a phantom, a lightning. Okay, exhaust stains, how to do this exhaust, and I do some very similar to this, okay, but using slightly different stuffs to get it done. Okay, exhaust stains, I've only just recently started blowing in exhaust stains with an airbrush. Okay, so again something that can be done and learnt and shown how to do. But the thing is, where a lot of us do it, the exhaust stains, we use pigments. Okay, and here it's got some pigments from whatever they were. I use pastel chalks. Okay, so let's have a look, see if I can find it. So look, I've just got some grey pastel chalk there, some black, and I've got some white. Okay, so it's not the end all, be all end all, it's to get an idea on what to do. Okay, graphite loads of times. Okay, so that's just graphite shavings, all right, to pick out certain details. All right, and then okay, we'll move on to the extreme weathering and fading. So we start off with the hind itself, painting in the weathered paint. Okay, I'm doing it all the dot filters and all that sort of stuff. Okay, street marks and what have you. A crash damaged 190, it's been set there for a while. Some metal fading, as you can see, just all along here. Okay, and then again at the end, just some eye candy. So that's number 4, which means we're now on the last one. So this one's your final steps. So this is actual stuff like rigging and what have you. So your weapons and external loads, all right, how to deal with weapons, what to do with them. All right, okay, so fuel tanks all the way through, different types of weapons, okay, missiles, guided bombs, 500 and pounders and stuff like that, that for the you know, Second World War bombs and stuff like that, to get something along those sort of lines. All right, some more weapons loadout. Okay, guided bombs, machine guns. Okay, from the old, what looks like a Tommy gun, okay, to the cannon on the rear of a Sturmovik, to actual weapons that are in wings and in noses of ME262s. Sorry, okay. Alright, okay. Adding the soot from the weapons. Okay, working all the way through. Propellers. Okay, chipping the propellers, doing the white, and then the yellow to make the yellow stand out. How to chip a prop. Alright, like so. And then nav lights again, which we talked a little bit about before. Okay, different ways of doing them. Scratch building nav lights, many different ways. Alright, and attaching parts painted separately. So attaching landing gear and attaching other parts. So in this respect, mine would be more or less the same as this, apart from I always have the tail on there, because sometimes that can cause quite a bad seam line. And how to attach and what sort of glues to use. Okay, clear parts again. Probes and antennas. Okay, different pit tubes and stuff like that, which can a lot of people forget about, okay, until the very end. How to make look a pit tube. Right, nice and simple. A couple of a needle and a high-powered needle, you know, absolutely easy enough to do. All right, just go through this one. So use a diamond file to cut it, slide it on, and then into the wing of this Zero. Control surfaces. The lightning protector parts. Antenna wirings and ringing. You know, different types of antenna wiring. They use rigging. I tend to use this knitting elastic or bead wire, so really thin wire, which then I use a Sharpie to paint. So using actual paintbrush. Okay, so different types, ways of doing it, how to add, you know, tie downs and insulators and all that sort of stuff. Rigging, again, another reason I don't really touch First World War aircraft or biplanes is because of the rigging. But after reading this, it's something I might be taking up in the future and having a look at. Okay. Sometimes it's you know, they've got the spiel at the side, but a picture paints 1,000 words. Okay, for us simpletons. Oil, grease and fuel stains. Alright, using different bits and pieces, look. Okay. And then at the very end, you get the actual gallery of all these builds. So we've got a Hornet in, that is 72nd scale. That one with all the engine details in. We have a 132 SE5A with all the rigging and all that sort of stuff. We've then got a Seahawk, a American Seahawk in the Vietnam scheme. Okay, a ME262 in 48th scale, a Starfighter, the two colour, one Spanish I believe that is, and German markings. And what else we got? We have the Sturmovich, the 148 Sturmovich. Okay, with a metal finish and the way they did the wooden parts of it. Another Hornet, this time a 48th version. Alright. A Zero. Okay, and how they did all the weathering for the exhaust stains. a metallic looking FW190, okay, with some camo on here, some not. All right, a F7U3 cutlass. Looks like this one's been in the wars because there's parts missing and all that sort of stuff. Hellcat, a 1/72 Hellcat on a launcher. A 48th MiG-21, all in metallics. A Tropical Spitfire in 48th. A F-16 in a aggressive scheme. We've got a I-16 Type 17 in 48th, and that's it. Okay, that's the lot. So that is the Encyclopaedia of Aircraft Modelling Techniques. Okay, from MiG Ammo. Now they have their uses, and like I've been saying, they are good for beginners, intermediate or advanced. It shows plenty in there to be able to get your teeth into. Each book was ranging from about £25 to £35. The volume 3, the painting one, I think was the most expensive because that's the thickest. Okay, yeah, there is a add-on to this. It's building the F-16 in the aggressive scheme. Okay, which I haven't got. Which I don't plan on getting because I think it's all in these books. Okay, they are a good resource. If you are not building aircraft all the time, by all means, they're not going to be for you. Even though you might be able to find something out within these books, they are what they say on the tin. Okay, it's modelling techniques. Whether you take all those techniques on board and apply them to your model is your choice. Okay, whether you use a lot of their items they showcase in these books, again, is your choice. I pointed out as we were going through some of the different products and bits and pieces I personally use for my builds. Okay, so but that being said, if you can get all of these books, they are well worth a look. Okay, even if you keep them for 2 to 3 years. Okay, and then pass them on or sell them or whatever, you more than likely will recoup some of your money, if not all. Okay, they are that much, I believe, worth it. Okay, and like I said, I have used a lot of the techniques in here on certain parts, but done it my way. All right, so that's that. I know that's a long, drawn out review, fellas, but I hope you enjoy it. If you did, give it the thumbs up and subscribe down below. Okay, so until my next video, bye for now.